Welcome, my lovely online family, once again to our regular weekly gathering on the virtual settee of YouTooSpain by the virtual pool. Today we'll be chatting to our good friend Richelle DeWitt all about the working visa and the self-employment visa for Spain and the hurdles you face in getting them in your country of residence or even swapping to them from the non-lucrative visa once you're living in Spain. And as usual, we'll also answer your questions on the live chat about anything else to do with moving to Spain and living there. And we also have a self-employment visa success story to tell you all about and chat about. We also have extra exciting things for you at the end of our time together, including prizes for the best questions and comments. So stick around for that. If you've slept in and you're watching the recording of the show afterwards, you can find time codes and chapter headings along here for each of the answers you need, and in the video description below, which I will put in there after the show is finished. But no, watch the whole chat. Come on, gather round. It's time for our cosmic theme tune. Let's dance. Oh yes, let's all give thanks to the groovy wizard Lee Spreadbury for our cosmic theme tune. Thanks, me darling. You can find a link to his YouTube site below. It's very good. Now, before I bring in the lovely Richelle, don't forget you can thank us for the helpful things you learned today by using one of the two links in the video description below. With one, you can buy me a coffee. On the other, you can make a regular donation through Patreon, and that's especially for close members of the family, just like you. And it's where you get loads of extra videos and stuff. There you go. And you can find loads of information too on our website, YouTooSpain.com. Join the mailing list and I'll write to you every month. All right, my lovelies. And of course, don't forget, if you're going to be moving and exchanging currency, you can get expert help from our great friends and members of our lovely family, Smart Currency Exchange. They've got a link below and on our website too, just for you. You can get a free account, your own free personal advisor, and using that link helps our lovely YouTooSpain family. Okay, it's a really good way of supporting us and holding on to a great exchange rate. It's a win-win. To learn more about that, join me for the Monday live chat at Spanish 1 p.m. Actually, usually 1 p.m. This Monday coming, it's going to be 11:30 in the morning on Spanish time, because in our local town here, it's the what's called La Noche del Vino, the night of wine, which actually starts at 12:30 in the afternoon. So I'm going to go to that early and watch all the festivities. So we're doing the show early. Anyway, that's where we talk about what your money is worth, what your savings and pension are worth in different currencies. And there you go. That's today's announcements. So without further ado, let's meet our wonderful guest. It's Richelle from Ask Richelle Andalucia. Hola.
Good morning. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias. It's a bit stormy out here in Spain, isn't it? We've had thunder and lightning.
Yeah, thunder and lightning. And it's still, the sky looks grayish and full of sand.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
a bit strange, isn't it? But it can be like that sometimes in August,
Yeah, but
apparently.
it's only 1 or 2 days more and then the temperatures are going to drop. Yeah.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Exciting.
Brilliant. So, let's see. You were telling me the other day you're not a lawyer. You're more of a gateway. Tell us what you mean
Yeah,
by
I'm a
that.
paralegal. So I do have knowledge of the laws, but I can't give legal advice. Not legally. I can't give legal advice legally.
Mm.
So for special work, special visas, special legal procedures, I work with various lawyers, each specialist in their own field. Yeah, that's what I feel most comfortable with.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can get the best specialist advice and legal
Yeah,
advice.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Great. So, just before, yes, I should tell everybody, Ask Richelle Andalucia Facebook group. I've put a link below so
Oh,
that you
lovely.
can
Thank you.
get in touch. There you go. So just before we get into today's topic, you've had some news updates for us. So tell us about those.
Well, yeah, I don't know whether you've seen messages about that in the press. It's been mainly the Spanish press that the extranjería law, and that's basically that deals with everything to do with non-EU citizens who want to come to Spain to work or to study or to live. It has been updated. It's been published in the state bulletin on the 27th of July. and most of its terms will be implemented in 20 work days. So that's going to be at the end of this month at the latest. A couple of things we'll have to wait for a bit longer. There's a deadline of 6 months for a new organ to centrally deal with questions and advice to the extranjería offices about visas and residency. So that could be a good thing. We have to wait and see how that's going to work out. And there's more changes coming with regards to regularizing your situation once you're already in Spain for a longer period of time. I don't know whether you've heard of the term arraigo.
I have, yes.
Yeah,
Tell everybody what that is.
Like, you have ties to Spain in whatever way. Could be through work, could be through family, could be through a special situation. And now they added through studies. So you can, once you're here and you would, and you have been here irregularly, if you were to register for a course, of course, it has to meet certain conditions, then you can also regularize your situation and get a study annex residency authorization. And it's going to be easier to get a work visa, supposedly. They want to make it easier to come to Spain. And the pool with the difficult to fill jobs, it's basically the first hurdle that you have to take. It's like if you're looking for a job in that field and the job is on the list of the difficult to fill stuff, then you can get a visa. And in all other cases, you have to go through a much longer and complicated procedure to get a work permit. And so we have to wait and see. They say they're going to expand that pool, and they're going to revise it every 3 months, depending on being more in touch with reality. That's what they claim anyway. So wait and see how that works out, because it's only been published in the state bulletin as in the foreigners law, and then it has to be implemented into a reglement, and it always takes a bit more time for that to come to effect. So, but things are moving. The only thing I could not find was anything new about the digital nomad visa. Nothing in there. I read it from top to bottom, and I'll do it again because I was scanning a bit this morning, but I can't find anything in it, and I can't find anything definite about it in what I found in Spanish press either.
That's odd.
So, yeah. I'm going to do some more investigating over the summer. See if I can get some lawyers who are following it very closely, that I've had webinars with and stuff, and see if they can comment on that. Why there's nothing more definite in it? If they're expecting more to come, or whether it's off the table. I don't hope so.
I like
that lots of people have been waiting for. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of this sort of umbrella organisation that's looking after everything that's going on.
Yeah, I like that as well, because it could mean, hopefully, that the way the extranjería offices deal with applications is going to be more uniform through the regions. Could be. Let's hope so.
Yeah,
because that's a bit frustrating at the moment.
And which model will they take? Is to be the one will they push things up or push things down?
Yeah, we have to wait and see.
Yeah, there we go. Let me just say hello to all of the people on the live chat. Hello, Yogi. He's saying buenos dias and como está usted. So very good. Sounds good. You spelt it wrong, Yogi, but you've got the right idea. If you say it, it works. And Ola from Anthony and Kerry, aka Mitchell. They're awaiting storms tonight. The storms are travelling northwards. I think they're going to hit the UK as well. Hello, someday soon. He still doesn't fully understand what he can do as a partner of an EU citizen. Can he work?
Yes,
you can.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Yeah,
from the moment he enters Spain, actually, there's a misunderstanding. Some people think that you have to have your residency authorization first, but that's not the case. You can work because you're already, the entitlement is there because you are the spouse or the legal partner of an EU citizen. So you could you could register as autonomo and use that to register as resident.
There you go.
Yeah.
And good morning. Upsticks. Chris is on.
Hi, Chris.
Good morning to Jason and Yogi saying what needs to be done currently to get a work visa. We'll talk about that in a moment. That's the subject of today. And John Nelson, good morning from Scotland. John has moved over from New Zealand and he's coming to Spain in the first full week in September. And someday soon, says EA. And also there was one from Donna Fryer, who's 1 week today. They're going to be on the ferry, and the husband is going autonomo as he has an Irish passport. Well done, Donna. And come and visit us all when you get over here.
Yeah.
So, and Alan Lackenby, good morning. And here we go. So today's topic. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Getting a work visa or swapping to one if you're in Spain, or a non-lucrative visa. Yep. None of these things are easy. So should we start with the working visa? What are the hurdles and difficulties involved in getting one of those?
Okay. Well, for the working visa, if you apply for the visa, so we make a distinction, yeah? Visa is applied from your home country or your country of residence, and a residency or the work authorization or the work permit is what you apply for from Spain. Mm-hmm. Once you're already here on a non-lucrative, for example, because once you're here officially after you've been here for a year, so after your renewal, you can swap. But the lawyers that I work with said that you can do it basically also before that year is up. So you could use it for the actual renewal. Mm-hmm. And before we start, each case needs to be judged on their own merits. You cannot transpose what you've read on Facebook from someone who had a lovely experience or a nasty experience to your own case. Please bring it forward to a specialist lawyer and chat with them about it and ask them to judge or to estimate your chances of success. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the exact steps you have to take through, especially for the autonomo, because that's dependent on so many more factors than the other visa. Okay, the work visa. Mm-hmm. To apply from the consulate, you would first need to find an employer who wants to employ you and he wants to offer you a contract, a full-time contract. Then he needs to apply for a work permit for you. That's conditioned. Yeah, it says like it has to take into account the national employment situation. That means that there's a pool of difficult to fill jobs that's being published and updated, but not very often at the moment. They're supposed to be improving that after this new amendment to the foreigners law. But if you're not on that list, and that list is really, really short, it mainly has to do with working on big boats at sea. So there's very, very little else on it at the moment. Mm-hmm. So if you're not on that list, you have to prove that the job offer that you have as an employer cannot be filled by a suitable Spanish candidate or a suitable candidate from the EU. And you have to advertise the job with the employment agency for X time, a month, I think, at the moment. Mm-hmm. And once that month has passed, you have to ask them to create a certificate for you. And here comes the tricky bit, because the certificate is in two parts. The first part will say whether any suitable applicants have come forward. And it could be that they say, no, nobody has come forward. So they will certify nobody has come forward. So then you're hopeful. This is going well. But it has a little line at the bottom of that first page of the certificate, and it says that it will only be valid if the annexo, and that's page 2, mentions the same. So that confirms that there's nobody in the database. And the thing is, it's a human effort. Somebody has to put in the parameters into the search engine to get the result. Yeah, and the result is what is really important to you. So, for example, if you advertised a job offer that had lots of extra requirements, not just having regular specifications, but special diplomas, and of course, speaking English at a C1 level or C2 level or whatever you want to call it, because that will limit the market considerably. The thing is, you have to narrow it down, so that basically there won't be anybody in the database suitable. Mm-hmm. Yes, but you have to come with real specifications that are relevant for the job. But to get those in the job offer is one, in the job announcement on their website. But to also get it put into the search engine is 2. And that's a different case, because it could be that the job for them falls into a category that's much wider, much more general. And of course, if they do that and they put only in the general, what did I say?
Description? No.
Yeah, the general description, and only add the extra requirement of having a good level of English, then there will come in that there are really thousands of people theoretically suitable to take that job, but possibly with an extra course of English through the employment agency. That's literally what's going to be on the certificate. And then the answer will be in bold letters. It will be that C, they have suitable candidates available. And that means a no for your work employment, for your work visa. Yeah? So it has to be no suitable applicants on page 1 and a no on the annexo. If it's not the case, don't leave the employment agency until they've changed it. It's horrible. It's, if not impossible, to get it changed afterwards if you find out afterwards.
Yeah, this is why you need an expert
But
advice.
all over again. Because the job will disappear from their database as soon as they issue the certificate. So afterwards, they won't be able to do anything for you. You have to start all over again. So that's hurdle 1. Let's assume that you got a good certificate and an annexo that says no. Yeah, then you need to take that to the extranjería, or the employer needs to take that to the extranjería and get the actual work permit. Yeah, because this is just a certificate from the employment agency. Then they have to get the work permit. And they have to give lots of documentation from the company that they're solid, that they're solvent, blah, 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 blah. Lots of information. They have to give that to the extranjería, the immigration office, and they will say yes or no to a work permit. With the work permit, you as the employee have to go to the consulate and apply for your work visa, annex residency visa. It's a 3-step procedure. Once you've taken the first hurdle, but that's really difficult, if it's not, because it's not the same as the highly qualified visa. That's not in that same category. That's a completely different thing. That usually goes through big companies that have hot shots or researchers or managers moving from one subsidiary to another one in another country. That's a different visa, different people dealing with that.
Yeah.
So this is just a regular work visa. So that's the main difficult part, the proving, getting accredited that there's nobody else in Spain, in the EU, in theory, who can do the same job. That's it. The advantage to applying from Spain, once you already have a non-lucrative visa, for example, that's the alternative. Come here on a non-lucrative visa for the first year, because once you're here and you want to work, the whole national employment situation is not an issue anymore. You do not have to meet that requirement. Any job that will meet a minimum wage, blah, 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 sufficient hours to meet, to make you, to offer you sufficient money to be able to live and to pay your bills, will do. So you still need an employer who needs to ask for a work permit for you, but he won't have to go through the whole hassle of going to the employment agency and blah, 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 and getting that horrible certificate. So it's a 2-step procedure. And he will go directly to extranjería for the work permit, and that will be the work and residency permit all in one. Once you got it, he gets it, he needs to show that he registered you with the Seguridad Social, and with that, you go and get a TIE, a new TIE that will show the work authorization that you've been registered with the Seguridad, and then you get a new card. So that's the big advantage for a work situation, applying for a work permit from Spain.
Excellent. Does it have to be a full-time contract, whether you apply from the UK or Spain?
Well, full-time, they don't mention full-time. It has to be for the duration of the extension of your residency authorization. But as a labor law, employment law at the moment says that all contracts have to be indefinite, that's not an issue. Indefinite, or you're going to renew for 2 years, your contract is going to be indefinite. So that's not an issue. What I assume is if you don't have any other funds, it has to be for a full-time contract. But it could be, but I would have to refer to one of the specialists if you want a definite answer. Could be that it could be valid for less hours if you have additional income to make sure that you won't be a burden on the state.
There you go. We're just getting some stuttering pictures from you there, Richelle, but we can hear your voice, so that's all right. We're getting all the answers. Jason said, so just to confirm, the job market is more open after being on the non-lucrative visa for a year, less rules.
More open, completely open.
Completely open. There we go.
Completely.
Brilliant. And are the steps that employers have to take costly or difficult?
No, not very costly. I mean, on the wages that he's going to pay you, he has to pay a tasa, an administrative fee, to the extranjería, but it's not a whole lot of money. It's just a hassle. And they probably won't do it themselves, so they have to employ as their gestor, they have to pay them, of course, or their lawyers to do it for them, basically.
So that can be a stepping stone to get through, but not that difficult.
Definitely, yeah, is willing to do that, and but it's not as limiting as getting a visa from your own country, from the consulate.
It's you were telling me that there's a shortcut for employers who've done it before. What's
yes, that? There's it mentioned that employers who are known to the immigration accreditation about their solvency and stuff like that. But let's assume that it's a new one to have, then every other situation will be a bonus. But of course, mainly for the people who want to come here and work at the moment, if it's not in the work pool, then it would be for international schools. We talked about that before, for international schools. And of course, those will still be the employers with the most experience in getting work visa for their people or work authorizations. But as I said, the job market is open. It's only going to be a bit weird maybe for employers who used to be able to just give contracts to people from the UK, and now they have to take that extra step.
Okay.
And some of them are not aware. So you as the person who wants to work has to have the knowledge to be able to educate the employer, because in some cases, I see them all the time on Facebook. Yeah, but I have a job offer. I have the contract here. I said, yeah, but is your employer aware that he has to get a work permit for you first?
Yeah. I've seen people saying, "Oh, my mate owns a bar and he's offered me a job."
Oh, yeah.
Your mate doesn't know.
No, your mate doesn't know. You have to be the one to tell him.
Yeah. So, and even for a specialist like yourself, you find new difficulties all the time, don't you? In different
all the time
jobs.
All the time, and new difficulties and different interpretations, and that can throw you off sometimes. As I said, if you read from someone who had a good experience, and it appears that they were lenient with him, then you would say, well, why won't they be with me? But it could be that his or her case was slightly different, and that's why they were more lenient or lowered the bar for income requisites or something. You just don't know. I mean, you stick to the general rules, and then you have the biggest chance of getting the visa or work authorization. Yeah.
So anything else we need to say about the working visa before we move on to self-employment?
Yeah, we'll check. No, I don't think so.
No. All right. Let's move on to self-employment, because what you've just been saying was very relevant.
The one thing you have to show that you don't have a criminal record in Spain.
Oh.
because for the visa, of course, you need to show it from where you've been for the last 5 years. If you swap from a non-lucrative visa to another one, you have to show that you didn't do anything stupid in the year that you've been here. Yeah?
Yeah.
Stupid in the sense of non-legal.
Non-legal, yes. Yeah. I mean, that's something that's across the board for all of the visas, isn't it? In terms of,
and
you need to show you're not
that you
illegal.
have the required qualifications for the job. Of course, if it's a job that requires special qualifications. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so self-employment visa. This is the one that probably most people on social media are asking about, thinking, a lot of them thinking they can maybe work remotely using clients they've already had.
That's the hardest thing to say to people who just want to up and move and take their business on their online business with them. I mean, working remotely, if your clients are exclusive to the country where you come from, let's say the UK, then no, because you're going to need to show a tie to Spain, a relation to Spain. So, for example, if you have a web shop and you're actually selling products and you used to target the UK market and you want to get a visa, an autonomous visa for Spain, then you'd have to do market research and, for example, put in a translation option for Spain on your website, get an automatic locator thingy so that thingy pops up that you're calling from Spain, blah, blah, and show that there's actually an interest from Spain. Do online or social media marketing to make sure that you can show that you had traffic from Spain to your website already, to include that information in the business plan that you have to produce and get approval on to be part of your application. So yes, there has to be a tie with Spain. So if you've been I don't know, doing web design or something for English clients and you want to still do that from Spain, no. You have to show that you're going to be actively seeking and already got clients lined up in Spain, for example.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest disappointment for many people. For those, the digital nomad visa could be a good option, but I have not seen any hopeful news on that.
No.
I can't find it in the amendments to the foreigners law, to the immigration law. Can't find it. So I'll do my best to try and find some more information, but at this moment, no.
Yeah. Okay then.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about that? Let's talk about the successful case, and then we can.
Yes, do.
We can
there was
link
one this week on
everything.
Facebook, wasn't there?
There was, yes.
Well,
so I'm going to bring up his. I've been talking to him, and I've got some answers from him about what he did and what his lawyer did. So this first one. The business is doing motorcycle tours. It's already been going for 16 years, but it belonged to a friend of his. So that's an important thing. He had to submit his friend's last set of accounts, and the business plan was built by a Spanish economist, one recommended by the Spanish lawyer I used. Total cost is around £3,000. That's, I think that means lawyer's fees.
lawyers,
there.
yeah, I suppose so.
400 to the economist, 100 for his medical, around the same for the police check, around 100 to get both apostilled, 40 each to get the official translation done. That's per document. 800, we'll talk about this in a minute, for private medical insurance, which you must pay in full for the first year. Not if you're self-employed, but there you go. Around 100 to submit the business plan for approval. Then the final fee is 400 for the visa stamp itself. First contacted the Spanish lawyer back in November last year. Started submitting paperwork that she asked for in January. First appointment to submit business plan to embassy in May, then back again mid-July to submit passport. That's a very good point, actually. It's not just something you can do overnight, even over a period of 3 months. This is something he's been doing for getting on for a year now, really. It's taken to get him here. He's now arrived. And I'm going to plug his business. The business is motorcycletouring.spain.net. And I've put that link down below. So support Graham in his new business, or which isn't a new business, but he's taken it over and he's a friend and he's going to carry it on in the same way. So there you go. What have we got to say about these different things? Let's talk about
Yeah.
that private
Well,
medical
first of all,
insurance.
starting in November and getting it all done by July fits exactly within the parameters that I always tell people, and that the lawyers that I work with for autonomous visas have told me about. Count with at least 6 to 8 months. But and if it's more complicated, if you have to get opening license for a new venue and stuff like that, even more. So then it would be easier to, or you do yourself a favor if you reckon with a year to get it all prepared and get it all approved. Yeah. So first of all, I don't really understand the necessity for the private health insurance because when you register as autonomo, it's all in the game. It's going to be. I could imagine that if you would bring family and they would need their visas, and it would take longer for them to get actually access to be registered as beneficiaries of that autonomo person. But for the autonomo, I don't know why they would require that. No idea. It's not the usual thing.
No.
But hey ho.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere else, I don't know whether your screenshot mentions that, but it mentioned that he only needed to show a personal financial reserve of about 16,000 euros or something.
Yeah, let's get that one on
Really,
screen.
really low. The usual amount to show, yeah, see? But the usual amount to show for an autonomous visa is the same amount as for a non-lucrative, plus funds to run the business indefinitely. So I don't know why, but it could be because of his special situation that the business was running and was generating loads of funds already, and this was just an addition to that. That's why the amount is lower. That could be.
Yeah.
Because of course, if you're going to run a business and it's an existing one with an add-on, then you don't need to have all that money in savings. The money that you have to show can come from the business itself. So that's probably, but as I say, that's why we cannot say that what's true for one case is also going to be true for another case. We would need to know the reasons that this was sufficient in his case. But what I assume is, what I can deduct reasonably, is because the business was providing the remainder of the funds.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've got another screenshot which tells a little bit more about what details Graham had to send in. He said I had to provide his friend's last set of accounts, 6 months bank statements of his own, stamped by the bank, for the business plan, letters of experience and emails from past clients saying they plan to book again later this year. Nothing was difficult, he says, just took a bit of time.
Yeah, that's the big advantage if you take over an existing business, or I mean, as in his case, add on to it. Yeah. Of course, it can be the other way around as well. If you take over a business that has been going down the last couple of years, then your business plan would have to show how differently your approach is going to be, how different your approach is going to be, and what your estimated chances and estimated and investigated chances of success are going to be with your different approach. So to think about that, if you're going to take over a business, if you're going to create an extra hurdle for yourself, if the business has not been doing well, of course it will be cheaper to buy, but you would have to prove that your approach is going to be more successful. And of course, if you buy an existing business that has been doing well, then you have a big advantage. It will be more expensive to take over, but it will help you in getting your visa.
That's right. It helps to have a mate who's had the business and who is going to give you it. So presumably Graham has not had to buy, spend so much on
probably not,
buying
because it's going to be it's using it as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of those advantages that you can see that he's had by having an existing successful business.
Yeah. So this is
those are the
Case.
difficulties. Those are the difficulties that imagine having to prove that with a business that's completely new.
Yeah.
That's one of the big hurdles that you've got, I think, when you're starting a new business.
Yeah. So that's why his timeline was quite okay. 6 to 8 months, 7 months or something. And B, that's why his documentation was not very difficult. And he got his business plan approved relatively quickly as well.
Yeah, his lawyer said the cases can go through quick or can take 18 months to be approved.
Yeah, definitely.
And we don't know, of course, that that Graham said that Edinburgh, he came through Edinburgh.
I mean, the business, he came through Edinburgh, The lawyers that I work with, it's called Malaga Legal, by the way. I think you know them. And they had a case go through in Edinburgh as well last year. But that was their first case. And they, sorry to say, but they really, really messed it up. And because they didn't know what they were doing. And it was new for them to process those applications. And official complaints have been filed. So it could be that they upped their game after that.
Did they succeed then?
Yes, they succeeded. Yeah. In the end, they're terriers.
The funny thing is that Edinburgh told Graham or Graham's lawyer that this was the first one that had actually come through.
I think that's a case of selective memory or preferring to forget that first case.
Maybe, yeah. But it just shows you how rare these things are. That Edinburgh, they're fighting to be the first one.
I can imagine that London gets more cases, maybe, but Edinburgh, it was definitely they upped their game and they learned from the experience from last year.
Yeah, and maybe it's something to do with Scottish independence that they want to be the first one. They want to beat London.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually we've had a question here. Judith Robinson says, does this process apply to any business, i.e. buying a bar or cafe?
Yeah. If you don't have, if you're not in Spain yet and you don't have residency under the withdrawal agreement or from before even, then you would have to go through the whole visa process. And starting with involving one of the organizations that will have to give an okay on your business plan. Involve them from the start. Don't just present something to them because then they will just deny it or whatever. And they give they will give feedback, but it's much better, according to the lawyers that I work with, just to start with them from the beginning, explain what you're going to do. And they do provide guides and stuff to help you set up the business plan. But for each specific sort of business, line of business, they will give you tips and recommendations on how to deal with it. So,
and without being negative, Judith,
with them.
Without being negative, Judith, the streets of Spain are littered with failed bar and cafe managers who want to move over and buy from the times when it was easier for UK people to do it, and they'd come over here and say, I want to start a bar. And the main problem is that you just wear yourself out because you have to work for about 20 hours a day. I do gigs in bars and restaurants here, and the bags they have under their eyes when
it's incredible. I mean, my local bars and restaurants, they start open in the summer. They open at 6 in the morning. And you see the same waiters. I don't know how to do it with labor law. I hope they never get an inspection because the same people are still there at 1:30 or at 2 because they'll only close when the clients are leaving, basically, out here in the campo. So the laws are a bit more strict in the centers of town, where they have to stick with the closing of the opening hours.
Yeah, and prices of drinks.
It's horrible. And during the fiestas, I mean, they will work till breakfast the next morning. I mean, just for 24 hours.
And because the prices of drinks and food is a lot lower here, the wages are a lot lower. But basically, the amount that you're going to make from a business like that is going to be a lot lower. So the things to bear in mind, do a lot of research about it. I'm not saying just don't even do it because, you might be really successful if you've got the right business plan, the right look of the bar, the right destination that you're going to. People have succeeded, and they do.
And see if it's one in a dozen, or if there's a niche thing somewhere. If there's anything that stands out, or that you're going to create that's going to stand out from the rest, that will give you a higher chance of success.
Yeah, just don't start an English pub.
No.
We've got plenty of them.
Well, unless in Fuengirola or something.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, if you're,
I mean, you can never have enough there.
yeah, or Benidorm or somewhere like that.
Yeah, or Benidorm,
I
yeah.
didn't mean to spit the word Benidorm, but it's not my kind of place.
No, not mine either. But
That's why I'm up in
each
the
their own.
mountains.
For
Yeah.
tourists, it's fantastic. Probably.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Yeah. And we have a question from Jason. If I move to Spain and live a year on the NLV and proof funds of £28,000 for the start of year 2, if I have a job, will my wage be taken into account towards the second year's proof of funds?
Okay, well, if you have your job before your TIE needs to be renewed, so that's the window of 60 days before and 90 days after. If you start really at the beginning and your employer starts with the work permit, then you don't need to prove extra funds.
Yeah.
The work contract is what it is. It's the proof that you need for funds, no extra.
It's like passive. It becomes almost like the passive income. It was not passive income, obviously, but it's
No. It's just your income, and because of the work permit, it can be come from work, and there's no limit. It has to meet, as I said before, it has to be minimum wage at least, but there's no limit as there was for the Non Lucrative Visa.
yeah,
Those numbers are out the window.
yeah. And the minimum wage is above the level of EPREM anyway. It has to be.
Yeah. Definitely above EPREM.
Yeah.
Yes, you don't have to earn £28,000, Jason.
Yeah. No.
Nobody does in Spain.
Very unlikely. No. I'd like if anybody does earn £28,000.
Yeah, let them shout out.
Yeah. Come on the show.
You want to know about it?
Yes, and just yeah. And can I borrow a £5?
Yeah.
Any other difficulties of self-employment that we haven't mentioned of getting the?
Okay, well, there's a bit of a deadline thingy, because once you get everything approved, you need to actually arrange for your alta as autónomo, and once you've got that, then you have to apply for your TIE. So you have to have 3 months to actually arrange for your alta, and then once you have that. And your alta is for them, it's important, the Seguridad Social. But of course, you need to arrange it with the tax office as well. Get an accountant and blah, blah. And once you have that, then within a month, as if you would arrive on a visa, you need to get your TIE. And with your TIE, you need to show that you have arranged for your alta as autónomo with the Seguridad Social, so that you're registered. If not, they won't issue it.
You can't work before that, can you?
As soon as you register, to keep it safe, register and work. Especially if you're doing something that's in the public eye.
Yeah.
So if there's going to be a risk of a labor inspector inspecting, or if there's a chance of a neighbor or somebody denouncing you.
Yeah.
Officially, if it's something you do from home or whatever, or unofficially, basically. But never invoice for anything before the period that you were registered.
Yeah.
And to keep it safe, just don't start working until you're registered. And it's easily done. I mean, you engage the services of a professional, they get a digital certificate for you, and boom, boom, boom. It's all online.
Yeah. It's good. I had to, on the advice of my hair store, I waited to do any paid work. I waited until the 1st of January because we moved in here in November, and he said,
all right.
No point just doing anything the rest of this year.
No, it's easy peasy. You start with, because otherwise you would have the hassle of having to do all the tax declarations related with just a month or 2 months work. It makes complete sense to start on the January. It's only a short while you have to wait. So
yeah, but it's good to know, I suppose, that you need funds to cover you to live on, for that first period until you're actually registered. And also bear in mind, chances are you're not going to earn very much in the first few months, or even the first couple of years of doing your business. It can take some businesses a couple of years to get going.
Yeah, some good news about that.
Yeah.
Because there's the new autonomous calculation system of your contributions to the Seguridad Social. It's coming into force in January next year. And people ask me whether the tarifa plana, the discounted system, was still going to be in place. Well, there is going to be a tarifa plana, but it's going to be different. It's going to be 80 euros for everyone for the first 12 months.
Oh,
And yeah, so that's better for older people. And because now there was a distinction. And if you can show at the end of the year that your projected income for the second year will remain under minimum wage, then you can get it for another 12 months.
oh, so that might apply to me.
No, because you're already on the old system. You can't swap.
Oh, no.
You can't swap.
What a shame.
Sorry.
Never mind. Mine's going to go up then.
Yeah. But that would be a good idea for people who are thinking of doing that but not sure of a timing element. And then if you can wait, especially if you're thinking of moving from a non-lucrative to an autonomous, I mean, then it would make sense to wait until the 1st of January. For some people. Yeah.
We've got a comment here from the captain.
Oh.
Hello, Captain. He says, don't use the entrepreneur's visa. It's a waste of time. They don't give it for anything. Quanta propria is the only way. Cost over 10 grand and no outcome for him. Oh, dear. Sorry about that. The entrepreneur visa is a lie from I think that's supposed to say
but
Spanish
the entrepreneur's
embassy.
visa is the golden visa, yeah?
No, it's not their name for the working visa. Entrepreneur.
Oh. No. Entrepreneur is not the working visa. The visa is trabajo cuenta ajena. It's not entrepreneur.
I think a lot of people call it the entrepreneur's visa. Well, let's get some clarification from the captain. Do you mean the working visa or self-employment visa, or do you mean the golden visa? So
I think so. It's a golden visa.
That's
the only thing that will cost as much as well.
I don't think he'd be saying that if it was for the golden visa, because they do give it. They give the golden visa out all the time. They do give
it as long as you meet the requisites and you pay the horrendous consulate fees.
Yeah. What's the quanta propria?
Quanta propria is autonomo.
Okay.
That's the autonomo visa.
Okay. So, either way.
Emprendedor.
So what's that then?
But that's only related to, I thought, very specialist businesses having to do with innovation and blah, blah, blah. But
need to do
maybe that's... I think I remember something about a music school. Somebody contacted me, and I sent them on to the lawyers that I work with, I think. But there was something that didn't go right from the beginning. I don't know exactly what it was. Okay, so there's so many different visas. I mean, the thing we're dealing with in today's show is basically the working as an employee and working as self-employed. So not starting an innovative business and going to offer loads of, I remember the music school, and not going to be offering lots of people employment and things like that. So.
There you go. But you spent a lot of money on it. Sorry to hear that, Captain.
Yeah.
So what's John Nelson? Hi, John. The new autonomo will be very helpful. I didn't know about the €80 potentially for 2 years.
Fountain of knowledge.
There you go. John's a musician, so it's unlikely he's going to be making the above the minimum. But you never know. He's got an amazing voice. There was a video he put up with Brian May from Queen, playing the guitar and him next to him singing a song. So
good.
There you go. Put that one up again, John.
Yeah.
There we go. And yes, so anything else that we need to say about the self-employment visa? Oh yeah, you were saying to me that you've got to go through kind of two judgmental processes, two different departments. There's the initial visa application, and then there's the residency, and you can go through one and succeed, and then not succeed at the second one.
that's for the first thing. You get your business plan approved through one of the organizations, UPTA or any of the other ones. Those are autonomous associations, and they it's like their first selection procedure for immigration, that they filter out people who are not going to have a viable business in their view and their experience. But even if they approve your business plan, it doesn't guarantee that you also get your autonomous visa approved, because it depends on all the extra documentation that you need to enter. And if they feel, well, it's okay that the autonomous say the business plan is in order, blah blah, but the consulate and the immigration department that they will consult on this, they can still say, well, for us it's a no-go. So it's an important step, but it's not a guarantee that you're going to get it, actually.
Scary. So
Yes,
you might have gone through, you got your visa, you've moved, and then you go to the
no,
expanded-
because that's
no.
before you get your visa.
That's before you get your visa.
Ah,
Thank goodness for that.
but you will have spent the money on the business plan and the economist and blah 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 blah.
There you go.
No, it's before you get your visa. The visa is at the end. You need to have all the other paperwork and administrations dealt with before you get your visa.
Is it different in different regions?
Shouldn't be, because it's national. And even if you apply through the consulates, in my knowledge, they all go back to Madrid to get approvals. So they're basically a gateway for the paperwork, and then it goes to Madrid to get an approval, a yes or a no. So it shouldn't be. Contrary to getting it from Spain, because from Spain, then you would go to the Extranjería office in the region where the employer is.
Yeah.
Where the
Okay.
business is. So yeah.
I have one question this week from social media. It's from Tony. Hello, Tony. He runs one of the lovely Facebook groups, and he's also the group expert in the logistics and transportation industry. There you go. He's asked this question before, but he's asking it for a friend who's had problems when speaking to an accountant in the UK, saying he's never heard of this. But the question is, if you're working for a UK company but reside in Spain, can you pay your tax in the UK or Spain if you need to do this? Yeah.
Let me tell you what I know of it. But there's a big but, because he needs, we can put a referral in, or he can contact me and I can give him a referral to an accountant who's qualified both in the UK and in Spain. What I know of it is, if the work is carried out in the UK, then yes, you can pay tax in the UK. But if you live in Spain, you reside in Spain, you would also have to declare it in Spain and pay tax on the difference. Yeah. But if you carry the work out in Spain, then it's only Spain that's going to deal with the tax.
That's right. And the reason you might pay an extra little bit in Spain is because the tax allowance is lower
Different
here.
allowances, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends on a lot of things, and tax law is very individual.
And he doesn't mention any specifics. I mean, working for a UK company residing in Spain, if the thing is, I don't know his situation. If he would work from Spain, then he would have to be autonomous. So his whole tax situation would be in Spain.
Yeah, that's true. But the company is, working.
Yeah,
for
even
you.
if the company is in the UK, doesn't matter. You just invoice the company in the UK. Of course, that would only be possible if he had a residency and before Brexit. Because otherwise he would need a autonomous visa.
Yeah.
And at the moment, work for remote work, that would not be an option.
Yeah, maybe that's why the accountant in the UK says he's never heard of this.
Could be. As always, we don't know everything, and it's difficult to give a ready-made advice. You have to get more details and ask an accountant.
Yes, indeed. It's the big, it depends.
Yeah.
That's
And you're
something
more likely to find an accountant in Spain who moved here from the UK and has the qualifications from the UK and obtained qualifications in Spain than the other way around. Asking a UK accountant who might have some knowledge of Spain or about the dual taxation agreement.
There you go. Oh, Judith says, I've heard you can apply for permanent residency after 3 years on the Non Lucrative Visa. Is this possible?
Not to my knowledge.
No, I've not heard of that. Where did you hear that, Judith?
Yeah.
Facebook, maybe?
Bob in the bar?
Bob in the bar. Yeah, it's Bob in the bar. He keeps getting mentioned.
He's a fountain of knowledge.
He knows everything, absolutely everything. It may not be the truth, but he knows everything.
No, we'd be interested to know, Judith, if you can tell us where you heard that.
Yeah.
If it was any source that we can that we can sue.
Yeah, let's find out. Okay, so prizes. We're getting actually Tony was asking for a prize. He was saying can I get a prize for this question? He was the only one that's asked the question this week on Facebook, as far to my knowledge. So I think we should give Tony one of the prizes, and let me make a note of that so I can tell him, because he doesn't watch the program live. He's usually busy on a Saturday morning, so
okay,
I'll send him a message. What about anybody that was on the live chat, Richelle? Who should we pick for? Who asked the most interesting question on there? We've already given one to Jason.
All right. I was going to suggest Jason, but if you already got them.
What about the captain? He spent
consolation
10,000.
prize.
Yeah, consolation prize.
Yes,
Captain, we're going to send you a prize, but we will need to know your address, but don't put it up on here, obviously, because then the whole world will have it, unless you don't mind that. But no, don't put it on the live chat. Info@YouTooSpain.com. Make sure you spell YouTooSpain right, but that's obvious. It's been on the screen for the whole of this broadcast, so that should be obvious. Send us an email with your postal address, and we'll get one. There we go. Oh, Jason says, I bet it was Tommy that said you can apply for permanent residency. Tommy is one of the characters I play in my videos.
All right.
Yeah, the captain says, "Wow, thank you." There you go. That's the prize isn't worth 10,000 euros, I'm afraid, but it's very nice as it is. And
it's the thought that counts.
It is, yeah. Now, Richelle, we've talked actually, Richelle, about a subject that we want to get onto that's relevant to both of us: the rental contracts. Not today, but we should talk about that on another show.
Yeah, would be good, because people keep sending me. It's one of the services that I offer to review rental contracts. I mean, I don't give legal advice, but I do know what the current rental law says, so I can check that with whatever the rental contract that you presented with mentions, and give you some notes on what is legal, what's abusive, or what would be abusive if you would bring it towards before a judge if there's a conflict. And what your plans are with the property, and what clauses are more or less important for you to get sorted, blah blah. And I'm amazed at the amount of horrific contracts still being used and still being presented as, okay, take it or leave it. And so that would be good, especially towards the end of the summer, when more people are going to look for long-term rental contracts, or are going to want to swap if they're not happy with the one they took on initially. So that will be a good subject, and I'll do that. Yeah.
And we'll clear up the myth of the 11-month contract.
Yes. Yeah, that would
good.
Be good. Because it's still a myth. It goes the rounds on Facebook groups every once in a while. Yeah.
And we might have a space in 2 weeks' time, because I've not had confirmation from my guest in 2 weeks' time.
Oh,
so
all right. I'll be here. No worries.
I'll chat to you about that unless they...
Okay. Judith says something.
Look. Oh, Judith. It came from a company you advertise on your website. Oh, really? That you can get? Oh, wow, I'm going to have to check that. Which company?
Yeah, and then we need some details.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know who said that. There we go. Interesting. Ooh. So, Intrigued. I am, yeah. Tell us. I'm going to hang around for another couple of minutes so you can answer that question. But I don't want to get any of these companies into trouble, because they're my partner companies. So, anyway, thank you, Richelle. You've been absolutely wonderful, as usual. You've been marvellous and helpful. And we'll say goodbye to you before I
all right.
Tell everybody.
If anybody's interested in having a chat, first chats are always free, both for me and for the lawyers that I work with. So there's no fees involved if you just want to chat about your situation and your options.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very, very, very helpful. And Richelle helped me out with my rental contract, and you'll find that out hopefully in 2 weeks.
Okay.
There we go. Okay then. Everybody
All right.
say bye-bye to Richelle. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now. Okay, so excellent, a lovely chat. Thank you everybody for watching there. Next week on our Cozy Family Settee, we have Chris from Upsticks. And I don't know if you're still on, Chris, but yeah, look forward to that next week. There'll be another topic about residency that I will announce during the coming week. I can't remember if we've agreed on what we're talking about next week. But anyway, everybody subscribe if you haven't already and click on the notifications bell and you'll be the first to find out what that topic is. I'll also announce it on the Facebook group just for you and on the Facebook page. And Donna Fryer says, good luck everyone, 2 years of planning for us. Do your research, get recommendations and don't believe everything you see on Facebook. And it's very true. So remember about the virtual Cafe of Cash on Monday. I have a top 10 series of tips on how to save money on your energy bills. Really important at the moment. If you're in the UK, I mean, you've seen the percentage that your bills are going to go up to. I'd see nightmare figures on the national news, mainly in the tabloids, but I don't know. The prices are going through the roof at the moment, but there are ways to save money, and I'll tell you all about those. And remember, the time for that is going to be 11:30 Spanish time, so that's 10:30 in the morning on Monday if you're in the UK or Ireland. So our regular time on this show, though, next Saturday is, of course, 9 o'clock if you're in the UK or Ireland, or 10 a.m. if you're in Spain already. And my lovely wife says hi. Hi Liz, you can join her for free virtual yoga and meditation on her YouTube channel, YouTooYoga. The link is down below with all of the other ones. Do check out those links, and of course get your exchange currency done through Smart Currency Exchange. I'll keep mentioning them because they've been lovely to me. That's all for this week. Somebody tidy up all of the tapas and pick up that sombrero. Honestly, I can't take you lot anywhere. Right, let's head into the virtual Spanish pool. It's getting really hot. Today, I think, is the hottest day of the year here. So I'm going to get in that pool soon. Peace and love to you all. And let's have the little dance before we go, so we can get hot and sweaty before we dive in the pool. Bye for now. Peace and love.